I'm Megan Mitchell, and I'm going to educate you. I'm your sexual ambassador, there you go. And I'm going to educate you on sexuality education in the United States. There's going to be 5 biggies that I'm going to connect with this so we can understand what in the world this means and why we are not educated. Well, I haven't said that yet, but we're about to. One of the biggies is culture matters. Second biggie is the sex for reproduction legacy. Third biggie would be talking about sex is hugely important to having a healthy, enjoyable sex life. 4 would be consent is important for healthy sex. We shouldn't want sex with someone who can't or doesn't give consent. Sexuality education is important and not being done well in the United States. So culture matters is the first biggie that we're going to talk about. That's going to connect to sexuality education in the United States. So a big fact is our culture plays a huge part in our decision making and how we live life. This allows us to understand how we are raised because this shows how our personality will be when we're older, how our communication skills, strengths, our weaknesses, along with being able to choose what we want because of how society pushes negative choices on us, such as like birth culture, sexual behavior, gender roles. Examples can be influenced by teachers because they are socialization agents. And also social attitudes. Second biggie, we're going to talk about the sex for reproduction legacy that connects with it as well, defined as the only reason for sex is reproduction. Psychologists disagree with this and call it a myth, which I believe we all should and would. This myth doesn't allow us to venture out and find ourselves to understand what we like sexually. Bartholin's secretion allows us to understand sex isn't only for reproduction, but also for pleasure of a natural orgasm. This secretion doesn't help a person reproduce. Anything that has to do with the genitals is sex and can create sexual arousal without intercourse or anything that can cause pregnancy. This is something that is important to humankind, especially because we all have some sort of sexual need that we desire. The third biggie that I'm connecting is talking about sex is hugely important to having a healthy and enjoyable sex life. Its irrational beliefs are way too common and must be broken. Assuming what the other person wants sexually will get you nowhere, no how. Some people assume we know how to please those naturally, as if we are just born with this knowledge of just knowing how to please someone, and introducing your partner to things and allow them to understand how to please you is way helpful. Ask your partner when the right time is to talk about sex. Explain why you are where you are now with how things are. You may actually learn something. Open-minded questions help the conversation flow to build a healthier communication talk, to allow the other person to elaborate on their response instead of a yes or a no. For example, what to say is, what things do you like in bed? Good self-disclosure statements help the relationship to grow and communicate. Never attack by using you. Even if your intentions aren't to attack, it sounds like you are either way. I statements are great because it's taking responsibility and accountability for what you're doing. Fourth biggie that I'm going to say is consent is important for healthy sex. We shouldn't want sex with someone who can't or doesn't consent. This is huge. Communication, asking questions like, are you enjoying this? Do you want to keep going? Was that a good moan or was that a hurtful moan? Allow each other to both know what each other's boundaries are. At any time when someone says to stop or they do not like something, that should be an automatic understanding that this individual is not liking what I'm doing, so I should stop. I should quit what I'm doing. It is obvious when both partners are enjoying, but enjoying each other and what they're doing. Doesn't mean you should assume it. Doesn't mean you should just assume it. You should ask, is this still okay? You should always check up on your partner to see if they are comfortable before sex and during sex. Again, this is where that open-ended question comes in to help us understand what this person enjoys doing and what they want to do and how often. Because, that could be just a one-time thing. And you're like, we're going to do this every Sunday? Like, no. Another thing is never have sex while drunk. Your consent is out the window along with your head. You aren't in the best state of mind when you are not sober. This is something shown as a norm in music videos, movies, short clips, things like that, tutorials. It's shown like drunk sex is the best sex, and it's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Our fifth biggie and our last but not least is sexuality education is important and not being done well in the United States. I couldn't agree more. I have met men in the world who have never decided to stimulate a woman with clitoral pleasure. A lot of men feel penetration. A lot of men feel penetration does the job and nothing else should be done because once they come, sex is done. Our school system is too scared to educate students more on sex because educational system feels students will start having sex. When in reality, students are already having sex. That being said, they need to know how to do these things and be well educated on it. It has come to the point where Google is just lying. G-spot being real when it's not, and men thinking they are hitting the G-spot just right when nothing's happening. When in reality, they're doing nothing but making a fool of themselves, and we're allowing them to make a fool of themselves. Educating our students more would not make them want to have sex more, but will help them more about the body and how it works. And we want to make each other happy in a safe, consent way as much as possible. So those are my 5 biggies to sexual education and being married. Thanks for watching, and I really hope you enjoyed my video. Bye.